Good evening, I'm Wendy Mesley, and this is The National. A rising tide of state and local officials defy Donald Trump and swear to fight climate change. Canada's part of that too.
So we have a lot of momentum in the U.S. to continue the fight.
Learning to code in Coal Town.
So they're coming out of the mine with team skills, professional skills.
The baffling mystery of last night's deadly attack in Manila. Police still call it a robbery. We take a hard look. Plus, Wonder Woman's real-life mission.
There is a lot riding on this.
On one side, more than 100 nations saying climate change is a problem. On the other, Donald Trump saying the U.S. won't be part of their solution. But today, a few American states, cities, and businesses said abandoning the Paris Agreement is not just Trump's decision, and they'll go ahead without federal support. Evacuation begins our coverage with the White House once again on the defensive.
Well, it's good to be with you this afternoon.
Ready to push back against the international disappointment and denunciation. Today, the head of the Environmental Protection Agency, a skeptic of how much humans contribute to climate change, had a message. It's America versus everybody.
And the reason European leaders, going back to the question earlier, that I think they want us to stay in is because they know it will continue to shackle our economy, though we are leading the world with respect to our CO2 reduction.
But those reductions are old targets, and the U.S. remains the top emitter of greenhouse gases after China. And for some politicians and leaders in the U.S., that's not acceptable.
So when Trump goes rogue, California goes mainstream, and mainstream is dealing with climate change and doing that with China, and then later with Europe, we'll get a lot done.
To that end, California is now banding together with New York, Washington, and Connecticut to commit to the Paris Agreement. So are more than 100 mayors, as well as universities and companies.
I'm not here to criticize what happened in Washington yesterday.
New York's former mayor met with French president and the mayor of Paris. He wants the UN to allow U.S. states and cities to remain in the agreement as a separate party. And he brought a check for $15 million to support the UN's climate efforts.
The American government may have pulled out of the agreement, but the American people remain committed to it, and we will meet our targets.
And with Trump pulling out of the agreement, a question still lingers.
Yes or no? Does the president believe that climate change is real and a threat to the United States?
You know what's interesting about all the discussions we had through the last several weeks have been focused on one singular issue. Is Paris good or not for this country? That's the discussions I've had with the president.
No real answer. And despite repeated attempts today to different members of the Trump administration, no one could answer this fundamental question about what the president actually believes. Evacuation, CBC News, Washington.
Canadians are already working with those states and businesses planning to keep to the Paris Agreement. Some even see the U.S. withdrawal as a good thing. Margot McDermott has more on that and how Ottawa plans to move forward.
Even a personal word from Prime Minister Justin Trudeau at the G7 last week couldn't change Donald Trump's mind on climate. So Canada is forging ahead without its neighbor.
The momentum is unstoppable, and Canada's going to take advantage of it. We're going to showcase the innovations and the solutions that we have here, and we're going to export them, and we're going to create good jobs and grow our economy.
Canada is now turning to China and the EU to help lead on climate strategy.
We were very pleased when Canada in Paris was saying we are back and has taken such a strong and also leading role. So I think this is a very important element for us together with Canada.
Some of the work is already happening at a local level. Provinces and cities with their American counterparts are forging ahead with joint plans to cut carbon pollution.
We have a cap and trace system here in Quebec that is linked with California's. Ontario is going to join us later this year. So we have a lot of momentum in the U.S. to continue the fight at the state and city level.
Even experienced environmentalists like Stephen Guilbeault are calm about Trump's climate exit. He says worldwide support of the Paris Accord this week shows the U.S. is the environmental outlier.
I think a lot of people are just thinking and in some cases saying good riddance.
But the U.S. is a big polluter, so emissions will rise if it does nothing at the federal level. Some say other countries will have to do extra.
We should revisit our target. We still have the same target left in place by Stephen Harper. It was inadequate a month ago. It's inadequate today to meet the Paris Agreement targets. With Trump doing less in the U.S., we need to do more.
Canada's Environment Minister will introduce a motion in the House of Commons next week asking all parties to support the Paris Accord, a symbolic and political move as countries adjust to the new reality when it comes to climate. Margo McDermott, CBC News, Ottawa.
U.S. Senator Al Franken has never been quiet about his thoughts on climate change, and he thinks withdrawing from the Paris Agreement is nothing short of disaster. I spoke to him yesterday, just as Trump was making that announcement.
That's huge. This is an existential threat to the planet, and the Defense Department knows it. In their quadrennial review, they talk about how serious this is and how much of a national security threat it would be. You're talking about millions of climate refugees.
But Trump's people are referring to it as it's making decisions about our own investments and our own industries, and we have to protect them.
We need to invest in renewable energy. We need to invest in energy efficiency. We need to invest in storage. We need wind, solar. Renewables are cheaper now than coal. That's where the jobs are now, and that's where they're going to be in the future. And, look, I have 3 grandchildren. I don't want them in 50 years coming to me and saying, Grandpa, you were a United States Senator. You knew climate change was happening. Why didn't you do anything? And also, why are you still alive? You're 116. And I'll explain that's all the investment we put into the National Institutes of Health.
That's just part of my conversation with Senator Al Franken. You can watch the full interview Sunday on The National. And a little later, we'll take you to U.S. coal country, where they know the industry is shrinking, but some aren't waiting for it to be saved. China is showing off its newest investment in renewable energy. The world's largest floating solar power farm is now online. These panels occupy 800,000 square meters in an area once used for coal mining. It was destroyed by flooding, and residents moved away after the ground sank. Now the farm can power 15,000 homes. Breezes from the lake cool the panels, making them less likely to overheat. Coming up, an agonizing wait on the East Coast.
Week in, week out, that's all we really talk about is when is this tour going to happen?
It should mean long-term jobs and revenue for Newfoundland and Labrador. Plus, a food bank takes the next step and reaps a healthy harvest. A terrorism threat prompted the evacuation of one of Germany's largest music festivals today. Authorities ordered concertgoers to leave the grounds as a precaution. More than 80,000 people are expected to attend the 3-day event. Organizers hope to resume the festival tomorrow. Belgian authorities have charged a man they say helped plot the deadly 2015 attacks in Paris. Yassine Attar is accused of being a leader in the activities of a terrorist group. He was also arrested in 2016, shortly after suicide bombers targeted an airport and train station in Brussels. Ireland's ruling party has elected a new leader, and he's set to make history on a number of fronts. Leo Varadkar will be the country's first openly gay prime minister. As the son of an Indian immigrant, he will also be the first visible minority in that role. And at 38, he'll be Ireland's youngest leader ever. Voters in the UK will head to the polls next week. Theresa May's Conservatives want to hold on to power and increase her party's majority. But as campaigning enters its final push, the race appears to be getting tighter. Cameron McIntosh has more on that from London.
On a Friday afternoon, the week before an election, in London's pubs, there's clear fatigue over politics.
It's just too long. We've had Brexit, we've had now snap election. and it's just too much.
But it's inevitably where talk turns in a race that is suddenly and surprisingly feeling more competitive.
The more the weeks have gone on, the more I've got a little bit more involved.
After saying she wouldn't, Conservative Prime Minister Theresa May called a snap election back in April, saying she needed a bigger majority and stronger mandate for Brexit negotiations. With an almost unheard of 24-point lead in the polls, many expected her to obliterate a perceived weak opponent in Labour's Jeremy Corbyn. It's not working out like that.
Nothing has changed. Nothing has changed.
Rather than talk Brexit, she's been defending and flip-flopping on some unpopular social policies, been criticized for not debating on TV, while taking a tough, if not belligerent tone with Europe. She's still in the lead, but now it's down to just a few points.
She wanted to hold a referendum on the Labour leader because he was weak, so she pretended it was about Brexit.
Political writer Ian Dunt says it's a tactic that could backfire, even if she increases her majority, especially on Brexit negotiations.
So she's lost time, she's lost sympathy in Europe, and all of that so she can increase the majority. That's what makes it so important that she does increase that majority.
As Corbyn's tax the rich, spend big on social programs platform finds approval, he's keeping May on her heels, today blasting her for not signing a statement with other European leaders publicly condemning the U.S. withdrawal from the Paris Accord.
She's instead opted for silence and once again subservience to Donald Trump.
Canada and Japan have not signed that letter, neither has the UK, but we all have the same view that we remain committed to the Paris Agreement.
Back in the pub, people are wondering.
But I don't know how it's going to swing.
No matter the result, there's one certainty. Brexit negotiations begin later this month. After looking inward for so long, the political focus in the UK will need to shift outward as this country begins to renegotiate its place in Europe. Cameron McIntosh, CBC News, London.
Prime Minister Justin Trudeau has a message for communities struggling with the opioid crisis. Help is coming.
The opioid epidemic has touched the lives of countless Canadians, and that's why we're working with our provincial, territorial, and municipal partners to find lasting solutions.
Speaking at the annual Federation of Canadian Municipalities today, Trudeau promised resources to fight the drug problem, though he didn't get into specifics. Meanwhile, Toronto is another step closer to getting 3 supervised drug injection sites. They were approved today by Health Canada. And the Ontario Provincial Police have announced that frontline officers will be issued naloxone kits to protect them from exposure to opioids. 6 months after being promised a new home, a family on a Manitoba First Nation continues to live in appalling conditions. Mold, raw sewage, and rats are just some of their problems. A pre-built house donated by an Ontario developer was supposed to have been delivered last fall, but that still hasn't happened. And the developer and the band chief now blame each other for the mess. Brett Purdy has the latest.
If all had gone according to a plan agreed to last year, 5-month-old baby Mac would be in a jumper in a brand new home. Instead, he bounces blissfully unaware of the state of his family's Sandy Bay First Nation house. Mac lives with 10 other relatives in a house that is falling apart around them and making them sick.
Bad headache.
Mac's grandmother, Melinda McIver, took us outside.
Yep, that's a sewer. There's a bunch of rats still here, too. They're almost biting me.
The drain pipe from their home is broken. When they flush the toilet, the sewage spills into the crawl space underneath their home.
Oh, it just smells like we can't eat sometimes because how that smells inside.
The family was supposed to be out of this house by Christmas. Ontario businessman Daryl Williams offered to build and deliver a prefabricated home last November. All the band needed to do was build the foundation to put it on. Williams says over the last 6 months, the chief of Sandy Bay has failed to return many of his calls and emails.
It sounds arduous, but if their heart's in the right place, they can make this happen in a day. If they're going to remain difficult and obstreperous and blocking of every move, then it's going to continue.
Williams says he's now donating the home to a family in need in another First Nation. Sandy Bay Chief Lance Roulette admits there were delays, but is disappointed with Williams because he says they have already bought all the supplies.
Everything that we had done as a First Nation to try and accommodate this process was done.
The unresolved back and forth leaves McIver caught in the middle and unsure when or if her family will get a new home.
I can't live like this too. All of us, we can't live like this.
Today, Chief Roulette says he's done talking about it, and that if Williams doesn't donate the house, the band will move the family into a duplex that is currently being built in the community, they say within a few weeks. Brett Purdy, CBC News, Sandy Bay First Nation, Manitoba.
A new report from the CRA shows Canadians have been stiffing the federal government on taxes to the tune of almost $9 billion in 1 year alone. The report, promised by the Liberals during the 2015 election campaign, covers the 2014 tax year and reveals a shortfall of at least $8.7 billion, probably more. The Canada Revenue Agency blames unreported income and people simply not paying what they owe. And another report obtained by the CBC is sharply critical of Shared Services Canada. The project was launched under the Conservative government in 2011. It was meant to centralize and streamline government IT services while providing more security for less money. Instead, it has consistently failed to meet deadlines or provide adequate service. The RCMP, the Department of Defence, and Canada Border Services were among the agencies to complain about the new agency. The report was ordered by the federal government last year and cost over $1 million. Straight ahead, with dozens dead in Manila, it sure doesn't sound like a robbery gone wrong. Adrian Arsenault takes a deeper look.
And I'll help you out. Be comfortable.
I'm Teddy. I'm 21 years old. I'm genderqueer, and I use they, them pronouns.
My name's Isabella. I'm 27.
My name is Willow. I'm 20 years old, and I identify as Two-Spirit, but primarily as a woman.
My name is Phoenix. I'm 17, and my pronouns are he, him, and Zezer.
The hardest part of my journey was coming out to my family, and also choosing to accept myself as well. For a long time, I denied it.
It's like a step at a time. First, I had to come out to people who I knew would understand, such as some of my siblings, some of my younger cousins, and then slowly to some of my younger aunts and uncles, and then eventually to my parents.
When I came out the first few times, it was mainly just a living room conversation. I feel like standard, stereotypical a little bit, but a few in the car, the usual.
Well, it was kind of a bone-chilling event because when I was coming out, I had to have a friend over who was already ahead of her transition as a way of trying to give a better impression about what trans people really are.
For me personally, I don't think it was as much of an issue as it might have been for some other people, just because I already had a precedent. I came out at least 4 times as 4 different things before coming out as trans.
It's been a constant coming out for me, I think. I'm changing every day, and I'm coming out to people multiple times, a day. And so, it's just, it's been this journey of self-discovery.
Slowly becoming more assertive and standing your ground towards the ones who you know are going to try and deny and trying to refuse to accept the reality.
There are some people that I thought would respond positively that didn't, and there are some people that I expected to respond negatively that also didn't. So it was kind of a waiting game.
Beautiful, thank you.
It was very beautiful.
Thank you. I hope Thanks, Elizabeth.
We're used to talking about it.
Thank you, Phoenix. Thank you. Excellent.
Smoke is no longer pouring out of the Resorts World Hotel in Manila, but details are still hazy. A day after a bizarre attack there that left dozens dead. Officials say that this was no terrorist attack. But if people are edgy in the Philippines, they have good reasons. This is a place ISIS has eager allies. Adrian Arsenault has more.
So first came the claims that all the guests and all the employees of the Manila resort were safe, and then came the reality. Images showing more than 70 wounded and at least 36 dead from that hotel and casino attack. Reportedly, most of them succumbed to smoke inhalation. Now, police say it was a single attacker who spoke English, a quote, 6-foot foreign-looking Caucasian man. This man, and police insist this was just a criminal robbery, not terrorism. They are sure the gunman killed himself. From the images of his body, it appears he tried to set himself on fire, but he also has a gunshot wound to the head.
Based on the CCTV footage, he was identified and all over from one place to another, from one corner to another, iisa at siyang naglalakad doon sa Resorts World na yun.
That detail seemed to baffle the survivors.
Ay marami kami, naghiwa-hiwalay na kami. Magkahiwa-hiwalay na kami kasi nga exit kami doon sa kitchen. May sumalubog naman putok sa amin. So balik na naman na kanya-kanya na kaming tago. Kaya hindi po pwedeng isa lang yung pumasok doon na namamaril. Hindi lang isa yun.
Eyewitness reports are often confused, but in a way, right now, so are the official accounts. In fact, the Defense Secretary of the Philippines seems less certain than police that this was just a robbery. He told the Filipino news agency Rappler in a text message that the police and intelligence people are investigating. We are not yet ruling out that this was an ISIS act. So was it just a robbery, or was ISIS somehow involved? Even before the attack was finished, an ISIS-affiliated news agency called Amaq reported the group's connection to the attack. And then the official ISIS agency channel, it's called Nashir, repeated the claim. It even offered the gunman's nom de guerre. That's no guarantee, of course, that this was a terrorist attack, and it's certainly too soon for conclusion. Still, it's really worth remembering that, yes, ISIS is a most murderous entity, but there's little to no evidence that it's ever actively lied about its connections to past attacks outside Syria and Iraq. And besides, there is a bit of a backstory here. For the past 2 weeks, the Philippine military has been battling Islamist militants who are tearing the southern city of Marawi to pieces. Tens of thousands of civilians are running for their lives. Some have been murdered, so have some soldiers. The attackers seem to come from several local insurgent groups. But many of them are eager to be seen to be part of ISIS, are draping what they can in that black flag. We got in touch with a local activist near the area who is trying to help rescue the survivors and trying to help retrieve the bodies of dead civilians from their homes. She was okay to go on camera, but she asked us not to use her name. And her main point is that the violence has been brewing for months. Have a listen.
People weren't taking them seriously. I mean, this was in the villages. The violence was in the villages. They were attacking municipal halls. We didn't expect that they would attack the city that fed them or that had their relatives. They're young people, they're 14, they're 16, they're 18. What they do is urban warfare. They climb up a building and they sniper the Philippine army, the soldiers.
There are some clear patterns here. When ISIS loses ground in Iraq and Syria, some of its fighters flee to places like Libya or Somalia or Afghanistan, looking for places to regroup. And Filipino authorities have been clear they have seen Indonesian and Malaysian fighters in those southern islands, but they are determined not to let ISIS take hold. That's why the president declared martial law in parts of the south a few weeks ago.
And if it means many people dying, so be it.
It is absolutely possible that what happened in Manila has nothing to do with ISIS or the battle to fight it. But the story of what really went on in that Manila hotel is far from fully explained. Adrienne Arsenault, CBC News, Toronto.
We have an update tonight on an exclusive story Red Sharon brought you last year. It exposed one man's harrowing experiences in a former Ontario criminal mental health facility called Oak Ridge, notorious for allegations of sleep deprivation, LSD treatments, and torture. After his release, Jim and other former inmates launched legal action against the facility. Now, the Ontario Superior Court has ruled in their favor, saying Oak Ridge grossly violated their human rights and dignity and that their treatment constituted torture. Here now is part of Red Sharon's feature report, The Secrets of Oak Ridge.
They had the power and you did what they said or you didn't see daylight. What they would do is they would say, we want you to take an LSD treatment, or we want you to take an amytalmethadrine treatment, or we want you to take a scopolamine treatment. So we want you to write a request to us to do that treatment. Now, you're going to write that request, whether you want to or not, because you're being told to by the people who hold the power.
Sleep deprivation, being forced to sit without any movement for hours on end, withholding food, all part of the treatment. Sometimes patients would be physically lashed together, even to sleep or go to the bathroom for hours, even days. And then there was the capsule. As many as 6 or 7 men would be stripped naked and placed in an 8-by-10 room for as long as 2 weeks. There was a simple wash basin and toilet, holes in the walls to provide food through straws, and a camera recording everything. The temperature and light would be altered from one extreme to the other. No blankets, no mattresses.
The point of the whole program was to break us down mentally, because they believed if they could strip away all our bad defenses that got us into trouble, break us down mentally, they could rebuild us as better human beings.
When asked by a BBC reporter if what they were doing amounted to brainwashing, Superintendent Boyd rejected the term, not the notion.
It's no doubt true that many of the techniques that they use in brainwashing are effective, and that we are using somewhat similar techniques.
As for the court ruling, the province, which has inherited legal responsibility for the Oak Ridge facility, can either appeal or settle. We will continue to follow this story. Coming up, a different perspective on our top story.
When I think of Donald Trump, I think he's a man of his word, and he's bringing coal mining back.
But in this coal town, some miners seek a fresh start. Plus, this princess doesn't need to be rescued. Can Wonder Woman teach Hollywood a lesson? Time to look at the day's business numbers. The TSX dropped 27 points, not much change to the dollar. In New York, the Dow hit another record high, gaining another 62 points. The price of oil closed down 70 cents a barrel. Coal is a black, lumpy political football. Both Republicans and Democrats have used it to their advantage. Donald Trump is its latest champion, but even his political maneuvering can't sidestep the reality. An industry not just in decline, but no longer depended on. The U.S. produced 900 million tons of coal in 2015. Sounds big, but it's the lowest output since 1986. That coal is also a smaller part of America's total energy picture. Power generation from coal is down 53% over the last decade. Meanwhile, natural gas and solar have grown. And keep in mind, we're talking about roughly 66,000 jobs in U.S. coal, a national industry with the same number of employees as Walt Disney World in Florida. But those are just some numbers. What about the people? How are communities dealing with a changing coal country and a president trying to revive it? Stephen D'Souza went there.
Welcome to Waynesburg, population 4,100. This is the heart of Pennsylvania coal country, the third largest coal-producing county in America. But like so many communities whose fortunes rise and fall with the mines, the last decade has been a struggle. Mines have shut down. A third of the coal jobs are gone. Two years ago, Marvin Locker saw the writing on the wall. After 5 years in the mines, with layoffs coming in waves, he needed a way out. His sister Amanda heard about his situation and had an idea. Ditch the mine for a mouse.
I didn't know much. You know, I could get on Facebook and basic things, but I didn't even know what coding was.
Amanda Locker had moved away to Chicago and become a successful software developer. Her idea? Return home, gather miners, wives, anyone from town they could help, and along with her partner Jonathan, teach them to code.
It's not a new idea that people want to change careers, and tech is, severely lacking in talent in the U.S. So it was just kind of a natural thing.
At first, the idea of teaching miners to write the language of modern software didn't seem natural at all. But before long, they started to realize the transition from digging coal to sifting through code wasn't as hard as they thought.
They work really hard, and they're very diligent and very detail-oriented. And they're extremely team-oriented. These team-oriented skills are really hard to find with software developers who go through the traditional path. So they're coming out of the mine with team skills, professional skills.
The idea evolved into Mind Mines, part training center, part consultancy. Through grants, the nonprofit offers a free 16-week course. Amanda and Jonathan then hire the grads who go right to work on everything from websites to new apps. While not guaranteed, Mind Mines has yet to have anyone finish without work waiting for them.
Because they've got the professional skills already and they've got up-to-date technologies that they know how to work with, I would hire them over any, four-year grad, somebody just out of college any day.
The company has been a beacon of hope in this town, where the reminder of better times is never far away. Close to 500 people lost their jobs when the Emerald coal mine closed here in 2015. And industry estimates say that when one coal job is lost, it affects 4 others in the region.
Okay. So I need to make sure I'm pulling the right ones too.
That ripple effect is what inspired Jennifer Grudai to take the course. Her husband still works in the mines, but she tried to convince him the future is computers, not coal.
There's no guarantee. There really isn't. You never know. But this industry will always be and will always grow. And there's always something. You can do code in anywhere, from anywhere. Any business needs a coder.
But coding isn't for everyone, and the pull of the mine is hard to resist. The Cumberland Mine just outside of Waynesburg is still going and has been hiring back some laid-off workers. Former miner, now job counselor Dave Baer, says it's hard to turn away from a job when you can make more than $100,000 a year.
The money. The money is where everybody likes to be. Because there's a lot of jobs around here paying 12, 13, 14 bucks an hour, not $30 an hour. That's what coal miners used to make them.
Basically, you know what this says? You know what it says, right? You're going back to work. That's right. You're going
Thanks to Donald Trump, some are optimistic about the industry again. In coal country, there's the feeling that finally they have someone in the White House that speaks to them. In March, Trump signed an executive order ending former President Obama's Clean Power Plan. That plan would have shut down coal plants. He also lifted a ban on coal mining on federal land, telling miners better days are ahead.
I made them this promise. We will put our miners back to work.
Promises like that on the campaign trail helped fuel Trump's surprise win in Pennsylvania. Here in Greene County, he took nearly 70% of the vote. That's why Brian Shriver voted for Trump. After repeated layoffs, he went to study electricity maintenance. While working part-time at a fast food restaurant, he ran out of money for school. He's now back working in the mine.
When I think of Donald Trump, I think he's a man of his word. A lot of politicians always say this and say that and decide they're not going to follow through with their promises. And so far, he's followed through with his promises. And he's bringing coal mining back.
But restoring an industry in decline is an uphill battle. Production is down 20% over the last 15 years. Coal mining has lost more than 70% of its workforce since the mid-'80s. And because of automation, some jobs simply won't come back. That's why at this job fair, where truck driving is the best job prospect for former miners, Trump's words may give hope to some, but others, like former miner Sean Tharp, are cautious.
Right now, I don't know. I'm up and down with it. Sometimes, I watch him on TV. I don't feel like he's doing enough to help any coal miners out or, keeping his promises to them.
Back at Mined Mines, Amanda Locker says Trump can only do so much.
I think most people think that it will make the bleed happen slower, right? People will lose jobs slower than they have been. But in the end, it's not Trump's fault that the jobs went away, and it won't be his fault that they'll come back. They're not going to come back.
Amanda is quick to point out, though, her company isn't the savior, just a first step to bringing more and diverse jobs to the region. It's helped Marvin and more than a dozen others. Once the student, he's now a teacher. He had a chance to go back to the mines, but unlike one of his classmates, he didn't take it.
It's just day to day or year to year not knowing, it's just a year I'm going to get chopped and have to go start over again. At least with this, you're always going to have computers. Computers aren't going anywhere.
And as he teaches a new group to dig into this code, he has hope that a region once reliant on coal now has the tools to chart a new path. Stephen D'Souza, CBC News, Waynesburg, Pennsylvania.
From coal to oil, Newfoundland and Labrador is hoping a new $14 billion project will help turn around its struggling economy. The Hebron platform will create jobs and revenue for the province, but costly delays have kept it landlocked for weeks until now. Chris O'Neill Yates has that.
30 stories tall, an engineering marvel. The Hebron oil project represents big hope for the province. But the $14 billion platform is no match for Mother Nature. Sea ice has kept it hemmed into Trinity Bay for almost a month. These vessels will tow it 350 kilometers to the Grand Banks. All these idling vessels have cost the oil companies up to $20 million extra. The construction of this platform over the past 4 years brought jobs into this community.
It's been a fantastic project for this area.
The underwater portion, the gravity-based structure, was built here. Sunnyside got $250,000 a year in taxes from lead partner Exxon. And there were the construction jobs.
A lot of people have gotten work out there. Seems to be a lot more than with the previous one, with the Hibernia one.
Hebron will bring 500 high-paying jobs on the platform.
A lot of tension on the way there, right?
Tevin Plummer graduates from the Nautical Science program at Memorial University's Marine Institute later this month. He hopes to get a job on a supply vessel.
Well, week in, week out, that's all we really talk about is when is this tow going to happen?
A new producing oil field means more cash for a province managing an $800 million deficit this year.
We will be getting $11 billion out of that well, so it will be of great significance to the province of Newfoundland and Labrador.
That's after the province pays off its share of the cost of the project, much less than the $20 million originally projected. But if oil prices spike again, the province may come closer to that amount. Under the agreement signed with the province, big royalties won't kick in until 5 to 7 years from now.
Royalties will happen they'll be delayed a little bit because the way the royalty system works, the companies earn back their return first, cover their costs.
When this oil platform reaches the Grand Banks, it will be fastened to the ocean floor, where it's expected to remain for decades. Oil should begin to flow by the end of this year, pumping much-needed cash into an economy that's seen better days. Chris O'Neill-Yates, CBC News, Sunnyside, Newfoundland.
Up next, raising fish at a food bank. As donations decline, it's one way to push back.
Good evening from London. It was a glittering and magnificent ceremony here at historic St. Paul's Cathedral, the marriage of Prince Charles and Lady Diana Spencer.
It was as if all of London was in love. 600,000 people filling the streets, come to share a special day. As they cheered every carriage, and as they listened quietly to the ceremony on the speakers,
I pronounce that they be man and wife together.
they were, quite simply, rejoicing.
Because I love these things. I love royal weddings and royal anything.
Yes, it's Britain, isn't it? It's Britain. We're here because we're English, we're British. This is a great day for us.
The crowd in front of me today has been absolutely marvellous. They've enjoyed themselves watching the procession, and they seem to have enjoyed it thoroughly.
It was a time to forget all the troubles, and anyone who tried to bring them up didn't have a chance.
For the country. That's
It's
it,
good
in a
for the
nutshell.
country, yeah,
it's good
but-
for ordinary people like me who go to work every day.
Yeah,
And
but
for
what about
thousands
people
and
that
millions
haven't
of
got
other
jobs?
people like us, all right?
What about
It's
people
good
that haven't
for
got
us.
jobs?
I enjoy it.
What about
That's all
fellas
there is
like
to
me
it.
as well? What about fellas like me?
It's just for the ordinary working people who go to work every day who've got a job. All right, we're lucky we've got a job.
Yeah, but
This
what about
is
the people that
marvellous.
haven't
This
got
is
a job?
England.
Not only the British thought it was marvelous, the Trudeau children watched from Canada House with their mother.
Well, I thought it was like a fairy tale, and like the trumpets and the band, and the Prince Charles was the prince and Lady Diana was the princess, and was very happy.
What did you think of Lady Diana?
I think she was very beautiful, and I'm glad that Prince Charles has picked her. He has made a very good choice.
Misha, what did you think of the whole thing?
I think the band was nice. I'm a musician myself, so I would think it's nice all the time. Lady Diana was nice, Charles was nice, the church was nice, the Queen was nice.
Not just the children, but all the world seemed captivated by the beautiful princess in her magnificent dress.
She looked beautiful. She had lovely frills around here, and she looked like a lemon colour, didn't it? Lemony cream. It wasn't white. Lovely.
Even as they saw it, this London fashion house was copying it, frantically working from a sketch made the moment the bride appeared on television.
Ours is white, hers was ivory, more to cream. Secondly, really the important thing is we are not using pure silk, we're using artificial silk, and therefore it's a lot cheaper than Lady Diana's or Princess of Wales dress would be if one could buy it, which of course you can't.
Within hours, 3 copies of the dress will be in London stores. Within days, thousands. The wedding has obviously been a tremendous boost for the British fashion industry and for the British economy, and also, perhaps above all, even if only fleetingly, for a faltering British spirit. Eve Savory, CBC News, London.
We're collecting and sharing the stories of Canadians.
That's hard.
From coast to coast to coast.
Oh, wow.
Tell us yours at cbc.ca/What's Your Story. Hello, Goodbye returns to CBC for a dramatic third season. Will you be saying hello or goodbye to someone at Pearson International Airport? Get in touch with us and share your story today.
For hundreds of thousands of Canadians, the local food bank is a fact of life. These community depots are part of the landscape across the country, but donations lag in the face of growing demand. Tonight, you'll see how that's led to some creative thinking, fresh ideas that translate into fresh food.
Food bank use in Ontario is at an all-time high.
Rising food prices affect all of us.
There's been a dramatic increase in the number of people using food banks.
Is paying for groceries, healthy food, a worry for you?
The main food bank in Mississauga is rolling out some new technology tonight. It's installed a hydroponic system in hopes of supplying its clients with a fresh supply of locally grown vegetables and even some fish.
1, 2, 3, smile.
I think the big picture here is sustainability. What we've started here is an aquaponics farm in the food bank. And what aquaponics is a combination of two technologies. It's combining aquaculture, which is fish farming, as well as hydroponics, which is farming without any soil. So together you combine something really unique where you get a protein crop in the fish, as well as a vegetable crop in the lettuce that we're growing. So how aquaponics works is that we feed the fish, and from that they provide us with some waste. Within the water there's bacteria that converts that waste into a fertilizer called nitrates, and the plants really love that. Many people are surprised to know that all this is water under here, so I'll show you really quickly. And you can see that the roots just hang down into the water, and that's what's taking up the nutrients pretty much 24/7. And it's one big happy cycle. Everyone's having a very synergistic relationship.
It's really taking control in our own hands rather than relying on donations or farming projects, which we've tried to do in the past. We thought, well, let's see if we can control our destiny, if you will. We try to do the best we can with the donations we have to give out good quality food. Treat people decently, and they're in a tough position. Why shouldn't they have some fresh food? It's important because it's better healthy. It's healthier food. So in terms of health of our clients, the nutritional quality, it also teaches them about eating healthy foods. We're not handing out prime rib and wine, fine wines. And we keep it balanced in terms of the kind of food we give out. Those large sort of city-centered food banks, we see them growing more of their own food because there's no farmland left, or farm donations are down. So I think this is a trend we're going to see more of to offset the declining supply of fresh food.
These fish have been in here for about 6 months, and when we received them, they were about a month old. This is our first time harvesting our fish because this was our first batch of fish that came in. And there we go. Do you mind grabbing that guy? There you go. Right now, we're transferring the fish because it's time to purge them. And what that means is when we're harvesting them, we stop feeding them for a while. If you don't feed them for several days, 3 to 6 days, they say, that gives them the best flavor and the best quality meat. So ideally, they'll stay in this tank here for 5 days, and on Friday, we can take them out and take them to the fish processor.
It's 6:30 a.m. We're here at the Mississauga Food Bank, and we're heading off to the fish processor with our tilapia that we've been growing for the last 6 months to get processed, and then we'll ship it out to the food banks on Monday to feed the hungry folks here in Mississauga. Very exciting day.
So we just got back from the processors. It took them a couple hours to process the fish, but we got nice fillets. There's 2 fillets per package, and we'll be going out to a food bank on Monday.
I'm good. How are you? Today we have fresh fish at first day. Nowadays, a lot of our clients are asking for fresh food and fresh meat. When we have it on a regular basis, this will add a lot of value for our food banks and our clients.
First time I got fresh fish today. In the end, I'm so happy to get some fresh fish and fresh food from the food bank. It's so healthy for me and for family. And I wish next month I will find the same product again.
So what's the result of all that hard work and initiative? Each year, those 2 fish tanks are expected to produce about 645 servings of fish and almost 11,000 servings of greens. Straight ahead, the stakes are high as Wonder Woman hits the big screen. Superman never had this much riding on his films.
Military here say they have never seen anything like it around the Lincoln Memorial, or for that matter, anywhere else here in the capital of the United States.
We lift our nation from the quicksands of racial injustice to the solid rock of brotherhood. Now is the time.
This park area on the Washington Mall, right underneath the Capitol Dome, has been the gathering place for many demonstrations. But none quite so strange as this collection of uniformed veterans, complete with medals and toy machine guns. The anti-war movement in this country is an ever-changing phenomenon. You never know quite what to expect next.
William H. Carroll from Atlanta, Georgia. 26 air medals and all the other stuff that goes with it.
Washington was the scene today of the largest anti-nuclear demonstration ever held in the U.S.
4, 6, 8, we don't want to radiate. 2, 4, 6, 8, we don't want to radiate.
If you're not building for the future, you're stealing from it.
They call the Supreme Court decision a tragic mistake. And on this, the 10th anniversary of legalized abortions, 26,000 marchers vowed to begin a second decade of protest.
Organizers are calling it the biggest pro-choice rally in history.
We will never give up. We will never give up. We will never give in. We will never give in.
From Capitol Hill to the Washington Monument, they formed an awesome mass of people. Not the 1.5 million the organizers claimed, but the largest ever gathering of Black Americans.
We're not here to tear down America. America is tearing itself down. We are here to rebuild the wasted cities.
This was exactly the image organizers wanted, a pageant of Americans before a national icon. Summoned by a political commentator and a champion of conservatives.
This day is a day that we can start the heart of America again.
Look around you, you're not alone. You are Americans.
The National.
The National.
Tonight.
When Calls the Heart. New season begins Sunday, June 18th on CBC.
I'm Lillian, and I'm from a little place called Chickawatt, a village on the west coast of Vancouver Island. This is my Canada, and this is my story. So I'm involved in various projects such as the Missing Women. I sit on the Urban Aboriginal People's Advisory Committee. I happen to be one of the Indigenous peoples that's supporting the Canada 150. We're celebrating our resilience and our strength, our inner strength to carry on and move forward. I'm proud to be Canadian.
She's a rare female superhero in DC Comics' traditionally male lineup. And with her great powers comes some even greater expectations. Wonder Woman galloped into theaters today. And as Eli Glasner explains, there's a lot riding on Diana and her golden lasso.
Step back. Or maybe not.
Wonder Woman handles the bad guys with ease, but this princess is fighting for more than the fate of a single blockbuster. A female-led comic book film is a rarity. And previous efforts such as Elektra and Catwoman, well, the less said, the better. This comic book fan and author says there's a good reason why they failed.
You don't get a lot of female writers or directors in Hollywood helming these female-led films, so they end up coming from this kind of like male gazy perspective that doesn't really do the character justice.
Hollywood has made so few female-directed movies that from 2015 to 2016, the number of major films directed by women actually dropped from 9 to 7%. And when it comes to superheroes, Hollywood focuses on the fanboys.
They treat us like we don't exist, which is kind of unfortunate because studies show that nearly half of the people who purchase comics and go to see superhero films are women. We are a huge revenue stream.
Which brings us to Wonder Woman. In front of the camera, Gal Gadot, Israeli soldier turned actor as the Amazonian princess. Behind the camera, Patty Jenkins commanding a $150 million budget, the biggest film ever directed by a woman. Which has some worrying the future of female-directed films rests on Wonder Woman's shoulders.
That's the twist, isn't it? It takes so long to get a woman to direct an action film, and then we judge all other women directors on whether or not her film does well. It's so unfair and ridiculous, but that is what happens here.
From her early days in the comic books to the funky hit TV show, it's taken 75 years for Wonder Woman to make it to the big screen. And the fans, they say it's about time.
It's literally the movie I've spent my entire life waiting for. It's nice, finally. Woman, other than Spider-Man or Superman or Batman, it's Wonder Woman. Strong female character, what's not to love about that?
And with early estimates of $100 million plus box office and other female-directed blockbusters on the horizon, Wonder Woman could signal the start of a new trend. Eli Glasner, CBC News, Toronto.
And that's The National for this Friday night. For news at any hour, you can always go to our website, cbcnews.ca. I'm Wendy Mesley. Thanks for watching.